Hello and welcome to Who Is Best, a show where I, Claudine, take games that give you choices and rate those choices in a tier list. And it's our 2-year anniversary here at Low Claudine RPG. And I want to go off script just to say
Near Automata. The Type 40 blade.
Amarant, Amarante.
He does have Maracuja. Allah's red.
It's like Megadol. So today we're going to celebrate my first tier list by remaking it. Yes, Final Fantasy VII was the first of the Who Is Best series, and the channel has grown and evolved since then. Going back, I actually still agree with many of the placements, but unfortunately I was wrong on some specific information and also left out a game-breaking strat that the community has been adamant that I include. So today we'll be re-ranking the party members of Final Fantasy VII. Characters differ in a few ways, including base stats, limit breaks, weapons, and that's about it. With that in mind, there are major advantages to certain party members. So without further ado, I give you the revised tier. Aerith is still a tier character. It doesn't matter that she has the highest magic, spirit, and MP stat in the game, or that she has some of the most useful limit breaks. None of this matters since you can't use her for the second half of the game. If you think that she should be ranked higher, well then you are lost! The low tier. Yes, Cait Sith has moved up from the previous list. Many of the comments made some good points about his character. Next to Vincent, he has the third, technically second best magic stat in the game. His luck and spirit are also one of the highest as well. His limit break can be manageable and at the end of the day can instant kill bosses. I wouldn't recommend him as an endgame party member because he doesn't add to any broken strat, but he is still slightly viable for your party. The mid tier. Red 13 hasn't changed from the previous list. He is an all-around good character. He has the highest speed stat as well as average to above average stats in every category, his magic and luck stat being the lowest. He receives good weapons early in the story, and his limit breaks, though not the best when it comes to damage, can be extremely broken in the early game. Casting haste or hitting 9,999 damage before the end of Disc 1 is great, but it doesn't scale compared to other limits that hit multiple times. Again, Red 13 is perfect for newcomers. Tifa Lockhart. Tifa is the speedrun goddess. If you equip her with Power Soul and keep her HP in the yellow, her damage is doubled. Slap on Death Sentence and the Materia Death Blow and you can get her damage to 16 or 30 times its normal output. Now if this was a speedrun tier list, she'd place first, but it's not. As good as she is playing this game hastily, optimally she is a mid-tier member. Tifa's limit breaks take inputs and ultimately land somewhere in the middle when it comes to damage. Like Red 13, she is a perfect mid-game character, but also like Red 13, she loses her usefulness as you approach late game. Strength, speed, and luck are her highest stats, making her a critical hitting babe. The top tier. Yuffie may not be the damage-dealing beast that Tifa is. She may not have the well-rounded stats of Red 13 or the casting capabilities of Aerith. But what she lacks, she more than makes up for in breaking the game. Yuffie's ultimate weapon, Conformer, is key in farming stat-boosting items in the Gilneca ship. These items are important for the god tier and thus her ability cannot be ignored. Normally, the Morph Materia does little damage, but this ultimate weapon does full damage, making it easy to defeat enemies and turn them into items. Despite this, she isn't a terrible party member at all. Her speed and luck stat are among the highest, and she has long-range weapons, which means she is at home in the back row. Also, her level 3 limit break is one of the best multi-hitting attacks in the game, and since it's level 3, it's much quicker to fill up the limit gauge. Next on the top tier is Sid Highwind. Sid might have some of the worst stats in the game, his MP, magic, spirit, and luck being the lowest of the party members. But much like Yuffie, he makes up for it in utility. Sid and Cloud are the only party members who have a triple growth weapon, and in order to break Final Fantasy VII, you have to level a lot of materia. He also has one of the best multi-hitting limit breaks next to Anger Max and Omnislash. The final member of the top tier is Cloud Strife. Cloud is a required party member and has the best stats in the game. He is top 3 in HP, MP, Strength, Vitality, Magic, and Spirit. His lowest stat is Luck, which even then, he's still average. Cloud also gains the best weapons in the game with double and 1 triple growth weapon. He has high damaging limit breaks culminating in a 15-hit Omni Slash, and would probably be a part of your optimal in-game team even if you had a choice. The God Tier. Here's the moment you all been waiting for. The 2 members of the God Tier are Barrett Wallace and Vincent Valentine. They rank here because of a ridiculous glitch in the game that allows them to break the damage limit. This glitch is called the Overflow glitch, and this is how it works.
In 30-bit operation systems, integer numbers are encoded in 4 bytes. In particular, for signed integers, the OSS employs the so-called 2's compliant comparison. In 2's compliant, the leftmost is negative weighted, and the most of all the values positive value. Given a generic n bit of 2's complement representative, every bit represents a 2, starting from 2 to 2. The corresponding value in base 10 is calculated by adding all of those powers to each one weighted. The almost sort of multiplier is such a bit. Working with the 2's complement represent the largest signed positive number, which can be represented in the n bit, is the one starting with the it's binary represented 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Since the leftmost bit is 0 and all the other bits are 1s, the value of the number above is the sum of the 2 and the 2 point negative 2, and represented the following explanation: e equal to given an integer k, the sum of all powers of 2 with the exponent in the range is 0k, 1 is 2k, and above k is 1, and it's equal, therefore, after calculating the sum, the result base in 10 is 0, which is the upper bound for 32-bit signed integers. Similarly, the largest negative number, which can be represented in embeds, is 1 or smaller than the lower bound, and overflow occurs in the software and exists in overflow behaviors.
Okay, so for anyone who didn't catch all that, the Overflow breaks the damage calculator, thus causing instant death to every enemy in the game except for Ruby Weapon. To achieve this glitch, you need to exploit Vincent and Barrett's ultimate weapons. Vincent's is harder since you have to defeat about 65,536 enemies with a death blow. There are spots in the game where you can have a random encounter of 6 to 7 enemies, and this has been used to reach Overflow, but it is going to take about 200 to 300 in-game hours. Barrett's is a little easier to achieve. The damage on missing score scales according to AP on the materia attached to it. So if you attach 8 Mastered Knights of the Round materia with hero drinks and max stats, you will obtain Overflow. Easy, right? I hope you can see why I left this out in my original list. But there you have it, the expert tier list for the original Final Fantasy VII. I love this game and love that it has inspired this channel. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications of upcoming lists.
Of thousands. They said it couldn't be done in a major motion picture. They were right. Final Fantasy VII.
PlayStation.